What is something a friend did that accidentally turned you on? My friend was putting face paint on me for an event. She was very firm in the way she grasped my chin to position my head and said, "Good boy," when she was done. A friend was reading a brochure out loud to me, nothing salacious, but the feeling of being read to felt very intense and intimate. I fell in love for about 30 seconds. Haven't gotten anyone to read to me since. I was bemoaning the enormous mud puddle by his passenger door, trying to figure how to get in the car without getting in the puddle. He straight up said, "I got you, lil mama," and scooped me up, then deposited me into the car. I was sorely tempted to jump his bones right then and there. I went over to his friend's house, where he was staying. He was working on his car, and I was like, "Yo, I'm here, loser." And he pushes himself out from under the car, and he was all greasy. And the first thing he asked was if I'd help work on the car with him, and when I said yes, he just had the biggest smile on his face. He looked like an idiot. And I don't know, man, the greasy look with the beautiful white smile was just, ugh. Girl I knew in college for 4 years, and we were strictly platonic. We came out of a bar one night, and a guy who frequently asked people for money was walking up, so without missing a beat, she grabs me and starts making out with me. Guy walks away, and she pulls back staring up at me for a second, before patting me on the chest and saying, "Works every time." We left and never spoke about it again. Nice improvisation, Kristen, but now my pants don't fit right. I was a theater kid in high school. One of my co-stars had this odd habit when she'd need to focus on a difficult part or cue we were working on. She'd bite her lower lip and get this really angry look on her face. I don't know why, but that stupid look on her face drove me up the goddamned wall. We were in Sweeney Todd my senior year. I was Sweeney, she was Mrs. Lovett. There's a section of the play where we danced together and sang a song called "A Little Priest." We were both great singers, but god-awful dancers, so it took a long time to master it. The whole time rehearsing, she'd stare at me angrily, biting her lower lip. That was like 16 years ago, and I still get a little flustered when I think about it. LOL. I remember once I was reading on my laptop and a female friend came over to me wearing a new perfume. I'm not sure what was in it, but it activated all the right buttons. Edit. First Silver is about me getting turned on by perfume. Don't ever change Reddit. We would go on walks every night for a few months, just talking about our days. Her laugh was so interesting to me. I could feel a lot of conflict in it somehow, and I always wanted to know what was going on, but didn't want to ask too many questions. Eventually, she told me about life at home, which was awful to hear, but while she was telling me, she grabbed my hand. It lasted maybe 2 weeks just holding hands and walking, chatting, and just strictly friendship. Then she moved to the opposite coast. She was sweet and beautiful outwardly and in her soul. She winked at me one time when punking her young sibling. It left me breathless. We were 16 at the time, but I still wonder where she ended up. Ms. T. Haas. If you're reading this, let's go for a walk. Night out. Me, M, and a few friends just chilling and drinking. Then one of my friends, F, who had drunk a couple of drinks too much, tried to stood up from the sofa we were sitting on, but then she fell back, and at the same time she grabbed me by my thigh for support, in which point the little guy woke up. And now I'm scared if someone touches my thighs. She was meant to be going out with her friends one night, so she was all dressed up, but agreed to help me get headshots for my art project at the last minute. Needed reference pictures. We took a little longer than expected, so she ended up staying home and we hung out and chatted for a while. From the way she was sitting, her dress kept slowly sliding up, revealing her thigh so she'd fix it. I was across the room from her, so I could see what was going on. After this happened a couple of times, she kind of stopped fixing it. It wasn't revealing too much, but I couldn't help but notice. That was the moment when I realized I had a thing for legs. We have a happy ending though. She's now my girlfriend, and things are going really well. Edit. Should clarify, nothing happened that night. We were good friends at the time, so I guess she was comfortable with me. I was also with someone else at the time as well. Me and my current girlfriend didn't get together for another few years. I feel weird sharing this since I have otherwise not felt this way towards her, and she's one of my best friends in a completely platonic way. She's objectively attractive, but I've seen her bare breasts and not been turned on as how platonic we usually are. What accidentally turned me on was the time we were at another friend's house and off to the side talking about random stuff when she suddenly remembered something she wanted to tell me. She perked up, sort of yelled my name, then punched me in the arm to get my attention. I genuinely have no idea what she said next because I was both incredibly turned on and incredibly shocked that I was turned on. We were both drunk at a friend's house party and I playfully pulled her hair to get her attention. She gasped and then gave a happy little moan. What made it hotter was the way she gripped the seat of her chair with both hands and encouraged me to do it again, and so I ended up playing with her hair all night. friend of mine is a hardcore extrovert, and I'm a hardcore introvert. So long talks with her are extremely draining for me. When I first met her, she was going on and on about something, and I started dissociating. I got really focused on her movements. She's very animated. She'd flip her hair, shift her weight, and throw her hips out to one side or the other. Basically, sassy cartoon character type motions, lol. She's got a high-pitched voice that sounds like a little bell to me. So I basically got mesmerized and did not actually hear anything she was saying. My brain just shut down and was like, pretty lady, pretty hair, pretty voice. He was sitting on the other end of the couch from me, and I had my feet upon the couch beside him, and he said his hands were cold, so he grabbed my feet and started rubbing his hands under my jeans on my ankles. He just kept kind of rubbing my ankles, and eventually his hands made it up to my calf. It was so casual, but the way he was willingly rubbing my legs really got me LOL. Co-worker friend I was lusting for, but keeping myself under control since she was happily married. She flipped her hair my direction while we were working at a desk. Face full of pheromones about knocked me on my ass. Told her to stop that, so she did it on purpose, nearly smacking me in the face. Have you ever simultaneously felt your blood boil and your entire body relax? It's an experience. I was playing cards with a group of friends, and we were mocking one of our friends because anyone could tell when he had a good hand, because he would make a small moan after looking at his hand. So we were all pretending to moan after looking at our hands just to make fun of him. There was one girl in our group, and to put it bluntly, she was a butch lesbian. No offense. She had a low but feminine voice, and whenever she moaned, man, that was some hot moaning. I've never been attracted to her or anything, and clearly it wasn't going to happen, but that one time she suddenly looked very hot to me. Never talked about that to anyone. Didn't want to risk disrespect my friend. We were video chatting after being long-distance friends for years. I'd seen pictures of her, had her on Facebook for 5+ years. I knew she was cute. What I didn't know was how strongly I'd react to her flirting. She was in something low-cut this particular day, and there was a lull and quiet in the convo. She leans forward to strech, and in the process I see down her shirt and get a side profile when she twists to the side and the screen full when she leans back to pop her back. Knew she was cute, knew she was attractive, but IDK if it was just distance or how long I'd known her or what. That was the first day I'd felt full-on arousal at her and had trouble banishing the images from my mind. 9 years together, 2 kids, a house and me, moving 2 states over later, and she still swears it wasn't on purpose. The summer before my junior year of high school, my friend and I had to attend a meeting to prepare for the next year of school since we would be doing dual credit college courses. She had apparently had golf practice all day. Our school had a golf team. So she came in wearing white denim shorts, a t-shirt, and a baseball cap with her ponytail hanging out the back. I had a "oh shit, my friend is hot" moment, and then had a crush on her for 2 years. To this day, baseball caps and ponytails on women just does something to me. I had another friend in college who I'd been in some plays with. We did a lot of hangouts at the place she rented. Sometimes when hanging out, she'd have me sit in front of the couch and she'd go to town on my neck and shoulders because I was always a tense ball of stress and anxiety. Then she'd have me return the favor and let me massage her neck and shoulders, temples, even her thighs and calves. Yeah, it turned me on, but I didn't want to mix any signals and be weird. Later on, I found out from a mutual friend that everyone assumed we were fooling around privately. Guess that was a missed opportunity. They joined a call I was in. I was venting to my friend about someone sexting me via Instagram, and my at the time crush had joined the call and they were trying to comfort me. I got so turned on that I had to tell them I'd be right back, mute myself, and then fucking panic. Because why the hell did my crush telling me it would be alright turn me on? A few months later, I told them I liked them. It turns out they liked me too, and then after a few months, we both kind of lost interest for each other. We're still best friends today, though. Edit, why the fuck am I getting upvotes for this? We played a blindfold catch game where we would have these squeaky shoes and our friend would have to catch us if they touched our forehead. We would wear the blindfold and they would wear the squeaky toys. One of my female friends was the one, and I was hiding behind a tree. She turns around to catch me. She trips over a rock and falls onto me. She was all over me. We had a 30-second awkward moment there, and eventually we moved on and acted like nothing happened. She lifted her shirt up and had me feel how strong her abs were getting. She's the type of person who doesn't normally like being touched, but she grabbed my hand and put it on her stomach. By that point, I'd been suppressing my feelings for her for years. It was after a yoga class, so loose-fitted clothing was involved, so I had to sit down very quickly after that. I knew this guy in college who I had a mild crush on, despite the fact that he was a hot mess. His favorite place to study was a pizzeria bar, and for some reason he seemed to think of me, a straight woman, as one of the guys, and would tell me about the women he hooked up with. That didn't do it for me. What did was the day he showed up in winter, wearing fingerless gloves. I was flustered all damn day. I was formerly in a somewhat unique position where I saw a lot of my female friends naked in provocative poses, but for entirely professional reasons. I said one time one of them was idly asking what stuff I was into when it came to adult content, and then sent me a low-quality cell video of her doing exactly that, starting with her saying, "This one's just for you." And it was one of the most arousing things ever. I had filmed photographed the girl doing naughty stuff in HD a dozen times at least by that point. Something about a personal video that I didn't expect was insanely hot. Back in college, I used to wear hairbands on my wrist because I'm a dude with long hair. I also had a really bad nail-biting problem. One of my female friends read online that associating a bad habit with a small amount of pain would help to curb the habit in time. So she got it into her head that every time she caught me biting my nails, she'd come over, pull on my wrist elastic, and let it go to make it snap back into my wrist, causing a very small but noticeable amount of pain. And this is how I found out I'm not adverse to low-grade impact play. Plus, having someone care enough about you to want to correct one of your bad habits. Oh yeah, now that's the good stuff. FYI, I still have a nail-biting problem, so I guess it didn't work anyway. This was something I did that a girl told me was super hot. We were at a Costco parking lot, and this old lady couldn't figure out how to turn her car alarm off. She was definitely panicking. I went up to her and asked for her keys and turned it off. The lady gave me a huge hug and thanked me for about 5 minutes. The girl I was with said that was one of the hottest things she's seen, and when we got back to my place, she jumped on me and gave me legit the best blowjob I've had. So if that old lady is reading this right now, God bless you. I was going through hard times, feeling all depressed, and we were in her car and she was like, "I have an idea, you should just scream, let's scream." But then when I was all shy about it, she wouldn't take no for an answer. She was like, "No, come on, you'll feel so much better. I'll do it with you so you won't feel embarrassed. We can even turn up the music." So we just sat in her car together and screamed, and it was one of the nicest things anyone has ever done for me. Subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss new and the coolest stories from all over Reddit in the future. See you next time.